Robin Hood Radio presents Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens. Michele is a longtime journalist and herself is a published playwright of several theatrical works. She's a frequent contributor to the Huffington Post, Daily Beast, and the Atlantic websites.
Another opening of another show.
Well, things seem to be looking up for now, and for some. According to the Broadway League, The Music Man grossed over $3 million for 5 weeks in a row. No surprise there, since fans started buying tickets to see Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster 2 years ago and patiently waited out the lockout. Broadway's other 3 big mainstays remained strong. Hamilton brought in $2.3 million, Wicked was $1.9 million, and Lion King $1.8 million. At least a dozen open on Broadway in April, so hopefully those tallies will keep rising. Now, what has struck me recently is how many shows I've seen that are about and by women. The quartet I'm reporting on this week include one at the Shed, that comes from the poet-playwright Claudia Rankine, one from Ars Nova's company, which emerges from the rather amazing brain and voice of Heather Christian, a rollicking comedy at Lincoln Center from one Bryna Turner, and the last at the Signature is the latest from the highly prolific playwright Dominique Morisseau. There are many, many more female-centric pieces up and about, but let's start with those 4. At the Shed, a venue which aims to be kind of on par with the Armory in its unique choices of projects, HELP, H-E-L-P, is about, well, simply white male privilege. When you enter the auditorium, the stage is filled with 11 business-attired white people. They interact while the audience is seated, and until a black woman enters. She, the charismatic actress April Mathis, is our narrator for the next 90 minutes. This is a difficult piece to even describe. It's more a polemic than a play, as academic as it is dramatic. Documentary theater, some call it. In fact, it all began with an essay that Rankine wrote, which received many angry, defensive responses, apparently. Now, some of those are uttered by the actors here. Well, you can't really call them characters. Rankine does have a powerful way with words. The N-word is now. Cruelty is only a comment away. There is some odd choreography in the piece, maybe a moment or two of humor. This is not a show for everyone, obviously. But the Shed is trying to be part of the theatrical discussion, and this will, pardon the pun, help its cause. And then there is Oratorio for Living Things. That's Heather Christian's musical piece at the tiny Greenwich Theater on Barrow Street in the West Village. Now here we have a chorale of a dozen singers strolling the room, gazing into our eyes. Are they accusing or challenging us? Reciting a libretto that is often difficult to decipher. I hope the Ars Nova folks, who are great, by the way, find a way of making sure visitors at least peruse the libretto before things go dark. And these are words worth reading and sentiments worth sharing. Many deal with time and space and capture what we have felt these last few years. I should take comfort in the lifespan of your star. I experience your blackout only now from quite afar. Why can't I just be still? What do I live for? Well, those are some of the relatable lyrics that I made out. Oratorio will be an acquired taste, of course. Heather Christian does have her fans. That one is continuing at least through April. Then there is At the Wedding, at the intimate Claire Toe space at Lincoln Center. Now, I was not familiar with the playwright Bryna Turner. I hope it's Bryna, not Bryna. But I am now. This is a 70-minute, very contemporary comedy, focused not so much on the bride and groom, we never even see him, but on one guest named Carlo, beautifully and hilariously played by Mary Wiseman. The play, as perceptive as it is witty, is structured to reveal that contradiction in a series of well-acted one-on-one encounters with Carlo. For example, one bridesmaid tells her that it wouldn't be any failure if you decided to leave, but later she returns to comfort Carlo. The bride's alcohol-fueled mom dismisses Carlo's RSVP gaffe, but then dismisses the young woman herself. Would it kill her to like me? Asks Carlo. A guest named Eli confides that he intends to propose to his partner at the party, though as Carlo warns him that would be emotionally hijacking the festivities, which is apparently her job, not his. Yet he's far more complex than he at first seems, as is everyone in this short but sturdy entertainment. I am still pondering some of Turner's lines, including, "The only thing worse than the end of the world is not surviving it." Well, at the end of the wedding, I was moved by this show, and it's up at Lincoln Center through mid-April at least. Finally, I saw and mostly enjoyed Confederates at the Signature Complex, which in several ways takes us back to Claudine Rankine's Help, at least in subject matter. "I'm aware of my white privilege," says one character right up front. Here, that speaker, a black female professor, is the narrator, sort of this play, sort of a narrator. This play time travels over a brisk 90 minutes with quick costume changes right before our eyes. We have 5 top-notch actors going from current-day classrooms to slave trade plantations. The play makes its points, especially when 2 black women end up competing for similar jobs, hoping for a time when, quote, "there can be more than one of us." The show is very funny, but does not shy from making strong points, including at the very end when the main actress says, and she has had her final say. "I have had my final say," something like that, she says, which gets strong audience appreciation. Then the cast walks off and, well, we keep clapping and clapping. No, I can't think of another show I've seen without a curtain call. There is even meaning to that to ponder, I suppose. Confederates is not fully realized yet, but certainly worth your time. As I said, the stages of New York City are filled with the voices and thoughts of women right now. Opening soon are For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough, and POTUS, a comedy about 7 women behind a president. Hitler's Tasters, those were young women who sampled the Fuhrer's food before he did. Suffs, about getting the 19th Amendment passed. That's starting at the Public Theater this week. Mary Louise Parker soon opens in Paula Vogel's show, How I Learned to Drive. That's a revival, but more timely than ever, I'm afraid. Likewise, Deborah Messing stars in a new one called Birthday Candles, directed by Lee Silverman. Between the Lines and Paradise Square both open soon, and they center on and were created by women. This is no mere trend, and let's face it, women are the more loyal ticket buyers. So it makes sense, as well as, well, pardon the pun again, dollars and cents. And let's not forget that 6, about the wives of Henry VIII, is the hottest new production of the season. Well, aside from that guy with 76 trombones, of course. Wicked, about those witches, written by a woman, continues big time. Tina, about Ms. Turner, hangs on. Even Company has switched its lead from a commitment-phobe man to a woman. Well, this week I will see 2 more, Paradise Square and Suffs. So, Jill, stay tuned.
Sounds like things are beginning to move right along, as advertised. Do you what is the audience reaction to something like No Curtain Call? What are you finding with the audience reaction?
Well, that was really a strange one, and I'm waiting. The New York Times reviewed the play today. Didn't even mention that. I don't know. People keep cheering. Finally, the lights went on, and the man next to me said, "Oh, I guess there's no curtain call." I said, "I can't think of another show that didn't have a curtain call," and I guess there's a point to it, which is maybe we've said what we need to say. We don't need to be applauded for it. I don't know.
How excuse me, my opinion. How hostile?
I don't know.
I don't know, and I'm just, a performance is a performance. The whole notion of and perhaps that's not it, but in the event that it is, the whole notion of not entertaining your audience, not you take the moment, you do your thing, and then you thank the people who spent money to watch you do your thing.
It's a really interesting point, and there's a lot you could probably think and say about it. I was thinking of, what was the other one that reminded me? Well, even the oratorio, which again is a lovely, unusual musical piece, but even there, I don't know, some people feel funny about having the performers standing right in front of you, staring into your eyes. You almost feel like, I promise, I'm not guilty, immersive can be odd. So there is a show called Fairview a couple of years ago won the Pulitzer And that was one that they asked the white people in the audience to come on stage to feel what the
There's a fascinating. There's some fascinating surveys out. You have to obviously check the questions and whatnot. But if you ask people who go to these things, what percentage of, you could say, the planet or the United States or whatever is LGBTQ, what percentage is Jewish? What percentage is black? What percentage is, whatever? It seems like they come up with about 30%. And as any self-respecting magazine editor knows, you're talking in a lot of cases about 0.4.
Well, that's right.
And there's just the lens has gotten so, I can't think of a diplomatic word, that, sort of so focused on the poor that you're missing. It's like, okay, how many pores do you have on your body?
Yeah, and also, people are short-fused now, as we saw last time at the Oscars. Can you take a joke, Will Smith? I guess not. And I don't know, does that help or hurt somebody's cause to see too? I don't know. I mean, we could go on this. I was yelled at the other day at a coffee shop because we had a discussion about the trans issue, and somebody said something at our table about, with no judgment at all, just saying, it's interesting that's 0.000. And then we were yelled at by a woman in the coffee shop as she walked out. She came over and yelled at us, saying, "Do you have any idea what the suicide rate is among trans children?"
And so my question to her would be, do you have any idea how many trans children there are? But you can't. No, because people have lost their minds.
I would have said to her, and I wanted to, but she stormed out. I would have said, sit down with us, talk about it, tell us. Do you have personal experience about it? We weren't judging anything. We were, noting something. But listen, like I said, where people are short fused, they're ready to punch, they're ready to yell, and let's just hope that we get to it. I think Anthony Hopkins sort of said it best last night when he stood up on the Oscar stage and said, "Let's hope for some peace and love." And we're a long way from that.
Well, let us, as good work, Sir Anthony. Let's go for the peace, love, and understanding. Remember those songs?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Just as an aside, most of the people who grew up with peace, love, and understanding are the ones who are forgot.
Maybe, yeah. There's no answers these days. We just have to, I guess, keep acknowledging the questions.
Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens, produced in the studios of Robin Hood Radio, robinhoodradio.com.